We are powering through Migraine Awareness Month 2021. I hope you're enjoying it. Thriving with Migraine is this great interview series with all the people that we love and inspire us about how they thrive while just happening to have migraine. One of our favourite people here at Migraine Australia is Emily Cordes from Movement with Migraine. Thank you for joining us, Emily.
Thank you for having me. Lovely to speak to you again. Okay.
It's always good to talk to you. We haven't seen you for a little while because you haven't been well, but that's okay. All right, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with your migraine, your blog, your website, your... I don't know. There's so many awesome things that we could talk about. How about we start with your migraine and then we'll go on to, you know, how fabulous you are.
Sure. Let's start with migraine. Let's get that out of the way. Just
okay.
that.
So when did your migraine attacks start and what kind of variety of migraine do you have?
Yeah. So my first migraine attack, I was 7. I used to call them my storm headaches or my perfume headaches. And they continued sort of sporadically as a child. And they were always fairly classic sort of aura plus pain and nausea and vomiting, etc. And I also think, looking back, I had abdominal migraine because I had all these unexplained stomach episodes. And then when I hit puberty, it settled into a very regular 1 to 2 attacks a month, and very similar. I'd have to go into a dark room, shut myself away, take a bunch of pain medication. It's just kind of how I managed as a teenager in my 20s. And then I got pregnant with my first little girl, Freya, and I was amazed. I didn't have a migraine for the entire pregnancy, not even the first trimester, nothing. And nothing for at least 2 months after. And I thought, maybe that's the end. Maybe that has cured me. Unfortunately not. They started coming back and I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. Here we go again. And then they just kept coming and coming to the point where I was having 25 migraine days a month. Some of those, attacks lasting multiple days. And I was diagnosed with chronic migraine. And that was in early 2018. So I've had that diagnosis of chronic migraine since then. But here we are in 2021 and I'm pregnant again with number 2. And the first trimester was not great.
No, that wasn't pretty.
About that. But I will say for the last couple of months, it has been amazing and I've had an absolute reprieve. So for some reason, I am one of the lucky ones in pregnancy who does seem to have an improvement in my migraine frequency and intensity. And I'm just enjoying that while it lasts and hoping that maybe this is just another shake of the dice and I'll come out the other side episodic this time.
That would be lovely.
Wait and see.
So you've mostly, I think, focused on wellness and lifestyle adjustments to get a handle on your migraine. What's the best thing that's worked for you?
That's a really hard one because I sort of chucked so many things at it at the same time. As I think we all understand, when you're in that chronic migraine phase, you're like, I'll try everything. But you're right. I did a lot of lifestyle adjustment, primarily because when I first started, my attacks first increased, I was breastfeeding. So some of the medications weren't available to me. And also I have a lot of stomach issues. So the NSAIDs and stuff, I couldn't really take anyway very often, even when I wasn't breastfeeding. And so lifestyle management techniques sort of became really important to me. I definitely started trying to bring in more consistency to my routine. That has always been key for me. My brain doesn't like any change, sleeping less than normal, longer than normal, waking up more. And I started to exercise a little more because I will say in that first year, 2018, I didn't really move very much at all. I felt that I had exercise-induced migraine attacks. So I just sort of resigned myself to, oh, well, I can't do that at the moment, which sounds fine for like a lot of people, kind of understandable, but I'm also studying exercise physiology, which is a degree to become an allied health professional where you work with people with chronic illness and injury to help prescribe them exercise. So here I was, first time ever with chronic illness, and I had just made the decision that exercise wasn't for me. So part of my big sort of lifestyle shift when I really decided to try and throw everything at it was to find a way to exercise. And also mindfulness. And I did a bit of an elimination diet to find some dietary triggers. They're not a massive thing for me. It seems to be hormonal primarily.
Yeah.
Things.
So let's go back for one step before we go forward. What did you do before migraine got bad? Like, what was your job? Because you weren't an exercise physiologist and online guru before this.
No, I'm a web developer and designer. So I did media and communications, and in that time I taught myself to code, and I worked as a freelance web dev and designer. And then I also became a yoga teacher. So I've been a yoga teacher for a decade now, and that introduced me to sort of how much I enjoyed taking people through movement practices. And I wanted more. I wanted to understand more about how this movement practice might help other people, especially those struggling with chronic illness. I have my husband has Crohn's disease, and so does a very close friend, and my mum and my everybody around me struggles with something, it seemed, at this one point in my life. And I wanted to be able to give them a yoga practice, but I felt woefully kind of ill-equipped, I suppose, to actually prescribe them anything.
Yep.
So me being me, I don't take the easy road. I enrolled in another 4-year degree and completely changed paths.
And how much longer have you got to go on the degree?
Well, I have finished my last subject.
Yay!
So all I have to do now is, because of 2020 and COVID madness, I was not able to do all my placement because a big chunk of it was going to be in aged care. So once I've had this baby, I just have to go back and do some more hours of placement to get that ticked off, and then I'm off and away.
Awesome. And you'll be what is it, a registered position or just certified practicing?
Accredited exercise physiologist.
Accredited.
AEP. Yeah.
Okay. Wishing you very much success with that. But in terms of what you do for the migraine community, a lot of it is online. So can you tell us how you went from being a migraine patient and yoga teacher to being online advocate for migraine?
Yeah, I guess I personally went onto social media looking for help and looking for anybody else that felt like me. I felt so alone and confused and angry and upset and just like, what is happening to me? Am I going crazy? I had the classic GP saying maybe this is anxiety. And I got all up in my head about that. And thankfully I have a great neurologist and we have sorted that out. And I really found such solace in the online community, Facebook chat groups and Instagram. There's a great little community on Instagram. And so I was in that community for a while and found it really helpful. And I found myself answering a lot of questions that would go up about, oh, I'm struggling, I can't even go out for a walk. And I had done a lot of research during 2018 about how you might start going for a walk and how to increase your exercise when you live with migraine. And so I just started answering these questions and getting involved in that way. And then was one of my friends who said, well, you're doing this, maybe just like actually make a migraine specific account to answer these questions and post about it in one place and write a blog. I was like, oh yeah, I suppose that makes sense. So I did, and I started writing Movement with Migraine, the blog. And I started the Instagram actually account first. And then I thought, oh, I might start a blog. So I've got somewhere to put some of these longer form thoughts. And it kind of just went from there. And then I just was involved in the community, the social media community, through my account at Movement with Migraine. And that was that.
And what's the best thing that you think you've seen in the time that you've been doing Movement with Migraine? What's the thing that's made your heart sing?
You mean in terms of
making it all worthwhile?
Oh, look, it's worthwhile anytime I get a message that says that something I've written or, put out there as a little walk and talk, which I do on Instagram stories, has helped someone. That is always just so lovely and reassuring. It's like, oh, wow, gosh, I'm putting something out that is actually beneficial for others. It always also makes me smile when I see other people in the migraine community celebrating wins, having a really good streak of no attacks, managing to achieve something, going back into the workforce, or having success with a new drug. Like, I think it's lovely to see that, because then it reminds me, even in the bad times, that like good things are possible and improvements are so possible. I think that sort of stuff I've really just benefited from having a community, because I don't know anyone in real life offline that has these struggles. I mean, I have siblings that have migraine, but they will get very episodic attacks, like once every 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, you just got a bad draw or something.
Yeah.
I'm a bit the same, there's a lot of migraine in my family, but none of them quite as bad as me.
You just drew the short straw.
Yeah, that's the thing. All right. So what would be your big tip or piece of advice to somebody that was thinking about starting up a migraine specific Insta channel or a blog?
Go for it. Firstly, go for it. Why not? Let's have more of us in the community. Let's build the community, and more voices talking about it is always good. Raising awareness. I just think it's a great idea. If you're wanting, sort of, if I get my like social media hat on, if you're wanting to build an audience, then I do advise you to try and stay specific. So pick something that you talk about. Because when I look back and sort of analyze how I've grown, I think that's it. I don't just, I don't talk about everything in my life. I do touch on it, especially in stories, but my account is for people that want to learn more about how to exercise while living with migraine. It's got a specific sort of thing. There's a reason to follow me and read my stuff. And I think that that's probably the main thing that people struggle with, is that they're just like, I'll just talk about life with migraine. And that's great too. And if you just want to be involved for the sake of being involved, that's awesome. But I know that people that have done sort of talking about working with migraine, or dietary changes they've had to make because of migraine, or I don't know, there are lots of different things. Improving your sleep with migraine, that would be a good one. There you go.
That would be an excellent one. If I could figure out how to sleep through the night with a migraine attack on foot, that would be fantastic.
That would be able to sleep, for me, be able to sleep lying down with a migraine attack in progress would be really nice.
Okay, where do you sleep?
I just have to sleep so propped up.
Yeah.
Because if I'm flat, it's just not ever going to happen.
Yeah. I've got an adjustable bed for that purpose.
That is an amazing idea. Yep. I've got a very good foam wedge pillow, and then a number of other pillows, but adjustable bed, that's the next level.
Yeah, look, it was expensive.
Sure.
And I kind of was actually trying to get on the NDIS so I could use NDIS money for it. So I was told to sleep at a 45-degree angle because of my issues with losing consciousness. And it does help, like it massively helps. I don't know why it helps, but it does. But yeah, I either sleep at a 45-degree angle in bed or on the couch, like actually sitting up all the way up. So yeah, I'm totally with you. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. Just
right. Yeah, good old migraine.
All right, Emily, we wish you all the best with bulb number 2.
Thanks so much.
Not long to go.
Very close. I'm glad we can fit this in just before she turns up.
And we'll talk to you when you come back from New Baby Haze, I'm sure.
Yes, wonderful. All the very best for Migraine Awareness Month, and lovely chatting to you.
Always. Happy Migraine Awareness Month.